Or good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class, where we are going to be talking about trial balance. If you don't forget, our last class we discussed about double entry principles, where we say that the principle says for every debit entry there must be a corresponding credit entry, and which means there are some certain transactions that you have to debit, and so you also have to credit them for us to have a balanced account, for our account to be balanced. And I said transactions like asset, purchase, expenses are meant to be in debit side. Transactions like creditors, liabilities, revenue, capital, they are meant to be in credit side. So I'm saying all this so that you guys can be understanding, can have a full understanding of accounting, because accounting basics, understanding of accounting stand from the double entry principles. Okay, today this is another part of the double entry principles. As I told you, the double entry principle is what you will be using mostly in accounting, especially in financial accounting, right? And trial balance is just an additional topic to double entry principles. Mind you, this principle is what we'll be using for this particular topic also. Right? If you are talking about trial balance, we are saying that both debit and credit side must be equal. If you have 5,000 naira in your debit side, you must have 5,000 naira in your credit side. If you have 10,000 naira in your credit side, you must have 10,000 naira in your debit side. But there are some situations whereby if you have 5,000 naira in your debit side, you might have 2,000 naira in your credit side. Those are errors. That's why we have two types of errors, right? We have two types. We have types. We have types of errors, right? Type errors are what make your trial balance not be balanced. Errors are what make your debit side to unequal credit side. Errors are what make your credit side not to be equal to credit side, right? So those errors are now divided into two. They are divided into two. You have errors that affect trial balance and errors that do not affect the trial balance. Errors that affect trial balance, they are the errors that make your trial balance not be balanced. They are the errors that make your debit side not to be equal to credit side. They are the errors that make your credit side not to be equal to debit side. For example, you have 30,000 naira as your debit. You now have 25,000 naira as your credit, right? That is one of the errors that happen, right? You have 20,000 naira as your credit and you have 10,500 naira as your debit. That means they are not correct, they are not equal. So that kind of errors are the one we want to discuss in a short period of time now, right? And also there are some errors that no matter how they happen, no matter how they happen, they will not affect your trial balance, right? They will not affect your trial balance, like error of omission, error of commission, etc. These errors are the errors that cannot affect your trial balance, no matter how they occur, right? Now, that is about the two types of error. So what are the errors that affect the trial balance? Number one, we have one-sided omission. One-sided omission. What means one-sided omission is that you record one transaction and you forget to record the corresponding entry. For example, ABC purchase furniture at 50,000 naira. You record 50,000 naira, you debit your purchase account, and you forget to credit your cash. That is an error. In that situation, your trial balance will not be balanced. Your trial balance will be short of 50,000 naira because you debit the 50,000 naira as your purchase and you forget to credit your cash, right? So that is the trial balance we are talking. That is one of the errors that affect trial balance. One-sided omission. You forget to record one transaction and you record the corresponding entry. Let me give you this example. Rent paid 50,000 naira is credited to bank, but rent expenses is not debited. Yes, in this example, rent paid, right? You have to debit your rent and credit your bank. Debit your rent. No, sorry, rent paid. Yes, rent paid means that you have to debit your rent and credit your bank. In this scenario, rent is not debited while you credit your bank, right? In this scenario, your trial balance will not be balanced. And in another way, you might debit your rent and forget to credit your bank. In that scenario too, your trial balance will not be balanced. Your trial balance will not be balanced. That is one of the example errors. Another error is posting to the wrong side of an account. Posting to the wrong side of an account. Instead of you to debit, you credit. Instead of you to credit, you debit. For example, salary 100,000 naira. As I told you, a salary is an expenses which must be in debit side, and you forget to credit it, or due to an error, you credit it. In that scenario, your trial balance will not be balanced, right? Your trial balance will not be balanced. For example, income, you're supposed to credit it, you debit it. Your trial balance will not be balanced because you posted in the wrong side of the account. Another error is incorrect amount entered in an account. Incorrect amount entered in an account. That means you're supposed to record a certain amount of money. You made a mistake by recording another amount of money. They bought goods at the rate of 5,000 naira. Instead of you to record purchase as 5,000 naira, you wrote 500 naira, right? In that scenario, your transaction, your trial balance will not be balanced. Your trial balance will not be balanced. Instead of you to write 5,000 naira, you wrote 500 naira for the purchase, and you wrote 5,000 naira for the cash. Do you see that? Your trial balance will not be balanced. Mind you, in these errors that affect trial balance, it is not if they affect the two sides of the accounts correspondingly or at the same time, it means they will not affect trial balance. Error of omission. If you forget totally to record that amount of money in both your credit side and credit side, they will not affect your trial balance. Right? But if you omitted one side of the account, right, instead of you to record two times, you recorded it one time. That means it will affect your trial balance, right? Posting to the wrong side of the account. If it is for the two side, what's supposed to debit, you credit it. What's supposed to credit, you debit it, right? In the same transaction. If it's for the two side, it's going to balance. But if it's for one side, it will affect your trial balance. That's a theory like that. So this is where we are going to stop for the errors that affect trial balance. And I want us to solve a question, a calculation question on trial balance from the ICAN pack, November 2019 foundation. So This particular topic will be in 3 stages. We are going to have 3 videos for this particular topics, for the particular topic, and it will be stage by stage. This is the most simplest question. The next video will be the complex one that is more harder than this, and the third one will be the one that is harder than the second one. So follow us. Now, using the following list of balances extracted from the ledger account of John Thomas Enterprises, the MD or CEO wants you to confirm if the various double entries passes by the newly employed account officer were arithmetic correct. So the requirement says extract a trial balance for the period ended June 30th, 2019. Right? 2019. What is the name? Let's start solving. What is the name of the business? John Thomas. Right? You can say question, solution to the question of what is the name of the person. Solution. We have John Thomas Enterprises. John Thomas Enterprises. John Thomas Enterprises. Yeah. Here we have debit side. We have credit side. Okay. Here we have Naira. Here too we have Naira. So let's start. Okay. Let me do like this. Okay, now let's start. We have revenue. As I said, revenue means sales. Revenue is an income. Based on the double entry principle that we did, we said revenue, all income should be in credit side. So that is why we are going to have our revenue in credit side. Our revenue in credit side. Our revenue in credit side. Right? All income should be in credit side, and we said revenue should be in credit side. Increase in income should be in credit side. Now we have revenue now. It should be in credit side. That's why we credit our revenue with what? 53 million naira. Purchase. If you can remember from the word PS, I said purchase, expenses, assets should be in debit side. So that is why we are going to debit purchases with 32,200 million. 32,200 million. Do you understand now? Purchase should be in debit side. Another question is PPE, property, plant and equipment, is an asset, and as you know, asset must be in debit side. 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 Yeah. Another one, accumulated depreciation. Yes, this is an interesting one. Accumulated depreciation. Normally, right, depreciation is an expenses in the financial accounting. So that is why depreciation is in debit side, right? But accumulation depreciation is not an expenses. Accumulation depreciation is part of the income. They are classified as part of the income, right? We use accumulated depreciation to reduce our assets, right? Anything that reduce assets, any transaction that reduce assets will be in credit side. For example, plant and equipment, 59,000 naira, debit side. Depreciation, accumulated depreciation, credit side, because it will reduce our plant and equipment. Sorry, accumulated depreciation is not an income, right? It is an estimate. It is an estimation used to reduce the fixed asset, to reduce our non-current assets, right? So they are the reduction, we use them to reduce the value of our non-current assets, right? So anything that reduce a debit entry will be in credit side. So that is why accumulated depreciation is always in credit side. Accumulated depreciation is in credit side. Accumulated depreciation in credit side. Please don't make a mistake when you have depreciation and accumulation depreciation. It is accumulated because we have several years of depreciation, right, that we want to use to offset our fixed asset, our non-current asset, right? But in the depreciation, because we charge it as an expenses in our profit or loss, right? Now we have inventory. Inventory is a current asset, and all assets must be in debit side. Inventory is a current asset, and all assets must be in debit side. This question is very simple, and it is 10 marks, 10 full marks. Foundation students, ICAN, November 2019. Interest expenses. Interest expenses is an expenses, right? The interest you paid, right, for the interest you paid on loan, right? You collected a loan and you are paying an annual interest. That annual interest you are paying, right, is your expenses, right? And it will be debited in your balance sheet according to the double entry principle. Administrative expenses. This is also an expenses which will be debited according to the double entry principles. Accrued expenses. Yes, accrued expenses. This is another one you're supposed to look at. Yeah, accrued expenses supposed to be an expenses, right? Yes, It's supposed to be an expenses, but it is owing. Maybe you are meant to be paying 200 naira per year, right? And you hold 400, you hold for 2 years. You did not pay for 2 years. That's accrued. That is owing. That is the liability for you. That is a current liability, right? Current liability, a short time liability. So, and all liabilities will be in credit side. So that is why we have this in our credit side. Yeah, let's continue. This one is very simple, right? Distribution cost. These are expenses, and it will be in debit side. In debit side, it will be in debit side. It's an expense, it will be in debit side. Retained earnings. Retained earnings. What do you mean by retained earnings? Right? After your profit, you paid certain amount of money to your shareholders, right? Let me say like this: retained earnings is an income. It's part of your profit, but out of the profit for the year, you pay certain amount of money, some percentage to the shareholders, right? And you keep some part of your profit, right? The part of the profit that you kept, right, is known as retained earnings. Retained earnings. And retained earnings, it is a profit. It is an income. Profit, income will be in credit side of the account. That's where you credit 23,500. Bank overdraft. Bank overdraft is a liability. You collected money more than what you have in your bank account. It is a liability. It's a current liability. That's why it will be in credit side. Right? Please, if there is anyone you do not understand, don't you are free to send a comment to this video. You are free to write your comment to this. I will look at it and get back to you. Right? We have cash and cash equivalents. This is a current asset. All assets will be in debit side according to double entry principle. Account receivables, it is a current asset too. Current asset will be in debit side. Current asset will be in debit side. Point. Finance cost. Finance cost, it is an interest. It is an interest. It is an interest. And interest is an expenses. It will be in debit side. This question is very simple. The next question in our next video will be tougher, will be harder than this. We have 5% loan interest. 5% loan interest is a current loan. Is we can say loan is a current liability or long-term liability. Yeah, but all liability will be in credit side. The classification of loan depends on the duration. If it is a loan that you pay for a year or within a year, it is current. If it is the one that you pay for more than a year, it is long term. Your share capital. Share capital will be in credit side because capital is part of the amount of money you use to start or to invest in an asset or to start a business, right? It will be in credit side. Or other components of equity. Under components of equity is part of your retained earnings. Equity is part of your capital. Capital is part of your equity. It will be in credit side. Account payable. Account payable is a current liability. A current liability. It means the people that you are owing, that are supposed to pay, will be in credit side. In what? In credit side. In credit side. So now total. Now total. We have 25,300. This we have 25,300. Any question, please? Any question? So, with the absence of no question, this will be the end of today's class. This will be the end of today's class. So, as I said, the next question will be tougher, will be harder than this. This is just a basic for us to understand, for us to have a full understanding of double entry. To have a full understanding of double entry and to understand the trial balance. And the error that do not affect trial balance will be treated in our next video. Thank you.